Welcome to episode 11 of the Self-Care 101 podcast with your host, Puja McClymont, talking all things well-being, how to get unstuck, build more confidence and feel more fulfilled. Thank you so much for listening today. On this episode, we're going to learn how to stop procrastinating and start living. I procrastinate. You procrastinate probably. A lot of people I know procrastinate. So many clients coming to me before they contract with me procrastinate because, do you know what? I think it's based in not just fear alone, but that whole, I don't want to do something. I only want to do fun things. So if I've got a list of tasks to do for a day, so I've got, washing load to put on, or go to the supermarket, or I could record podcasts, or I could do my social media activity. I want to do the fun things. I want to do the things that bring me joy. And unfortunately, washing the clothes and going to the supermarket don't actually bring me joy. But if I could change the way I looked at those activities, because they're activities I need to do, right? That's just a fact of life. I need to get them done, so I need to do them. If I could change the way I actually view them, I can actually then start enjoying them. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to become super washing woman by any means. I mean, come on. I bow down to people who absolutely love washing, but I will at least enjoy what happens once that task gets done. So quite frankly, procrastination, it sucks the life out of life, right? It just takes up so much time procrastinating, and it's anything you're procrastinating about. Now, procrastination tends to be based in fear of the unknown, or fear because of a past trauma. Now, whatever it is that you're procrastinating about, you need to first work on changing your mindset towards the tasks or the events. So to give you an example, focus on the outcome rather than the activity. So say you need to do the housework, right? You may not want to do it, so you'll put it off and then you'll feel terrible about it. Instead of focusing on all the things you've got to get done, focus instead on how you will feel once the housework is complete. Focus on how accomplished you'll feel. Focus on how lovely your environment, your home is going to feel. When you focus on the outcome, you shift the reasons for getting the task done from a negative to a positive. So if it was a work-related procrastination, the same rules apply here. Focus on the outcome, decide what outcome you want, and then work yourself backwards from there with a plan about how you can achieve it. So if the outcome makes you happy, you're more likely to do the task. If the outcome doesn't make you happy, try to see what you could do to affect that, or decide how you'll feel if it doesn't go to plan. When procrastination occurs in a task that includes other people, you've got to always plan for the various outcomes because you can only control yourself. Therefore, you need to know how you feel based on each possible outcome. Careful, informed planning ensures that you can practice getting out of procrastination when something is uncomfortable for you. Now, another very common time procrastination can take over is when you're exhausted. You know you've got lots to do, but every time you start something, you end up distracting yourself. My husband mentioned this in the episode I did when I interviewed him about his mental health. And he said that when he's finished work and he's got a day off, he tends to procrastinate over the little things that need to get done because he just wants to rest. So this happens when you're exhausted. It's very common. But if this does go on for a few hours, it's because you are exhausted. You'll end up distracting yourself every time you start something. And do you know what? It's usually because you need a break from the doing state. So stop right there and just take that break. Now, it may mean that you don't get your work done on time. It may mean that there are dishes in the sink for the day. And you know what? It's okay. The sky's not going to fall in. You will not be sent to laundry jail and your boss will not fire you. It's imperative that you stop and that you listen to your body, however that may appear. We all tend to be in a doing state most of the time, but we must take stock and take the breaks when we need to. And honestly, procrastination sometimes can be a sign that you need to rest. Now, a note on procrastination with home tasks. Sometimes feelings of being unappreciated by others in your home will lead you to procrastinate about your home tasks if you don't feel like you're validated for all that you have to do. And that's perfectly understandable. To move from this, though, remove the other person or people from that task and just focus it back to you. So if you're in a home with a partner, just remove them from the equation. If you live with other people, remove them from the equation and just focus on the task and focus it back to you. So, for instance, if a lazy partner doesn't contribute enough to the housework and you do everything from the school run to making dinner and you come home on your day off, you'd like to rest, but they just won't allow it because they don't support you enough. You must delete them from the equation in the first instance. Think only about the importance of completing that task for you, how you will feel, how you will be able to rest afterwards, how you will be able to enjoy your environment. You can then more rationally think about your partner and whether the relationship works for you. Also, delegate. I cannot stress this enough. I wrote an entire blog post about delegation. In our ever-increasing busy lives, we must delegate tasks. If you can afford to spend £20 on a weekly cleaner, do it. Just do it. Because if it buys you some rest and sanity, do it. Procrastination is essentially a sign that you're not happy with something. And most of the time, it's not related to the task that you're procrastinating about. It's either something from a past trauma that keeps manifesting in different guises as an adult because you haven't yet addressed it, or something that right now doesn't make you happy. So you need to dig deep. You need to ask yourself how you really feel and why you feel like you procrastinate. You may be surprised with the answers, and you may need to address those core challenges instead. And I know that sounds difficult, but it's with anything I talk about. If you can see that there is a barrier holding you back, you've got to actually face that barrier head on so that you can move yourself forward. Because essentially, if you're doing all this self-development work, this personal development, self-helping, you want things to change. And a lot of the times we don't want to face the reality of what we actually need to do. And you do need to take a slightly backward step in order to get you to move forward. Every time I say that, I think of that Paula Abdul song, 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. But it's true, we do need to take in order to take those few steps forward, we need to take a few steps back. Now, this can be a tough task, but honestly, it is so worth it in the end to help you stop procrastinating and start living. Thank you so much again for listening today. If you enjoyed this episode, then please subscribe to the Self-Care 101 podcast. For more tips and tricks, head over to my website, franklycoaching.com, or for daily inspiration, you can follow me on the socials at Frankly Coaching. Talk to you soon.